Sunday, the 30th of July 2006. 6 Bridgedown, Tarpley, Cheshire.
Who are you?
Tom Simcock.
Is that your full name?
It's full enough.
What was on your birth certificate?
Thomas Joseph Simcock.
Who was your father?
Frederick Simcock.
And your mother?
Ellen Winifred Gannon, married to Frederick Simcock.
Right. Where were you born?
Newton-le-Willows, Lancashire. Over the road from 19 Cross Lane.
When?
On the 2nd of the 11th, November 1926.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had one brother and 4 sisters. One sister was older, all the rest were younger than me.
What were their names?
Veronica was the eldest, then Mary, then John, then Gertrude, then Claire. All except Gertrude are still alive. Gertrude died in 1971, I think.
Where did you go to school?
Pardon?
Where did you go to school?
I went to school at St Mary's and St John's infant school first of all, then the big school until I got the scholarship when I went to West Park Catholic Grammar School, St Helens.
At the little school, is it true that you got scars on your knees from getting kicked with clogs, or was that in playing behind
I still
cross
have a
line?
scar on my left knee from where I was kicked with a clog.
Was that in school or was that outside of school?
Outside of school.
How did that happen?
Kids kick each other with clogs.
Who was to blame?
The fellow that kicked me.
Oh, fair enough. Do you have any other tales?
No, I had no other mishaps whatsoever. I led a completely blameless life.
So it's a total fabrication that Grandad Simcock hung you up by your braces on the back door for misdemeanours.
I said I was blameless.
Ah.
Not that Grandad was blameless.
What was Grandad's work?
Pardon?
What was Grandad's work history?
When I was born, he was a coal man. He'd just been sacked in the general strike and bought a coal business. Later on, he changed that business into a general delivery business, which continued until the outbreak of the Second World War, when a new van he'd just bought broke its axle, and with the shortage of petrol and things like that, he found he couldn't continue in that business. Then he went to work at the RAF base at Burton Wood, later the American base at Burton Wood, until the end of hostilities.
You mentioned once in bringing back onions from Norfolk during the war.
During the war he travelled widely in the UK, at a time when there were no things like signposts around. It was a time of rationing, and on his travels he did pass the occasional farm, and I can strongly recollect him bringing a tea chest full of onions back once. Far too many for us, but they were shared among the neighbours.
I always remember seeing lots of books at Granny and Grandad's house.
Oh, we had quite a few books, yes. My mother used to go onto the market and buy second-hand books. We very rarely had a new book. In fact, I can't remember a new book. One thing that did stick out in my mind was that probably in the mid to early 30s, we were the first people in our row, because we lived in a terrace of 6 houses, and we were the first ones to have a radio, and all the neighbours came in and listened to the radio. We were also among the first to have a washing machine, and that was a hot point washing machine which was probably bought about 1935. It was a marvellous thing. I enjoyed washing it. It also used to wring out the washing electrically, which meant there was one chore less for me to do, because before that I used to have to wind the mangle.
Oh. Now, after you finished at school, you went to Swansea?
Swan University for 2 years, then I went into the army.
Where did you serve in the army?
Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire, Hampshire, in the Royal Engineers.
And how long were you in the army for?
Just over 2 years.
And during that time you met your wife?
Met Mother.
Ah. Where?
She was working in Winchester, and I met her at the Catholic Club, which was run by some parishioners from St Peter's Church, wasn't he? Yeah.
What year was that?
God help me. 1946 or 45 or thereabouts. 60 years ago.
And you got married in?
No, not quite 60 years ago.
1950?
No.
51?
51.
Russia one.
Will that do now?
Oh no. What was your first job? After leaving, after leaving the army, really?
I worked for a few months in Sankey Sugar Works. Sankey Sugar Works were on the bank to the Sankey Canal, and was supplied with sugar by barges, effectively lighters, which came up the Mersey to Sankey Bridges, and then up the Sankey Canal to the Sankey Sugar Works. Lorry transport for things like that was unheard of in those days. And it was pure cane sugar, which came from different places around the world. South America, Mauritius, South Africa and Australia. The best was the Australian and South African sugar. The Mauritian one was nearly as good. They were almost as good as refined sugar. Very, very, very pale sugars. The South American sugar, or Caribbean sugar, was quite dark. I only worked there for about 3 or 4 months, and then I got a job in ICI.
How long did you work for ICI?
30 years.
Doing what?
I was in the laboratories. I started off in the works labs, and then I went into the technical service department, and I ended up in charge of the UK aerosol lab. I left ICI having done 30 years service in 1981. I was the age of 55.
And you went to work part-time in Liverpool then?
I went to work 3 days a week in Liverpool for 5 years. Then for a few years I worked 1 day a week in Liverpool.
And you fully retired?
Never.
You've certainly kept very active since your retirement. I mean, you got your allotment and your garden.
Yes.
Your regular support to Anne. In many ways, not only caring for her when she comes home, but looking to her interests regarding the authorities.
Oh well. Yes.
What do you enjoy most in life?
Living.
Yeah.
I don't think I enjoy anything particularly more than other things. There's something I don't like, but I can't put my finger on them just like that now. But I just want to be alive and kicking.
Certainly kicking. Thanks, Dad.